All right, guys. Hey, good Friday evening, everybody. BAM weather meteorologist Brett Waltz here. We'll give folks a moment to filter in. Just want to state right off the bat these storms right now, because I know we have a lot of followers in Indiana, not expected to impact Indiana anytime soon. Certainly not central Indiana. We may need to watch out for northwestern Indiana later tonight. But I did want to hop on because we have a lot of followers in parts of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, especially the Chicago metro area. And this is an intense line of storms right now. From a wind perspective, especially, we've seen reports of 80-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to include areas like Beloit, Wisconsin, and Janesville. You can see that right here on the Clarity platform. Rockford, Illinois, 60-mile-per-hour winds as well. And if we zoom out here, this storm cluster will be pushing eastwards towards areas like Milwaukee, Kenosha, Waukegan, and eventually the Chicago metro area as we work later on into this evening. These storms moving at about 50 miles an hour or so right now. So we still have a little bit of a ways to go before they work into the Chicago metro area, but they have a long history of producing damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes. I don't know if you all saw. If you go to our Twitter page, we retweeted from IndyCar driver Scott McLaughlin the tornado that he took a picture of at the racetrack there at the Iowa Speedway. We're working with a couple of teams there this weekend for that race. And so crazy start to the race weekend for them in the IndyCar series, guys. And now these storms moving further off to the east. So appreciate all of you all for hopping on. Guys, if you have friends and family in the area, if you're not in the area, you live in Indiana, where a lot of our followers are, be sure to share this, tag a friend, give them a heads up that this activity is working towards them. And be sure to go subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, where we are live right now. But a couple of notes that I want to make right off the bat. We do have a tornado warning in effect right now that includes areas like Janesville, Wisconsin. That's a fairly populated area. What you're going to get, if you've watched our live streams before, with this line of storms, with this cluster of storms, you get these little notches that form kind of on the leading edge of the storm. And they can produce quick spin ups, quick tornadoes that can certainly, produce a good amount of damage in a short period of time. And then they lift. They're not typically long lived tornadoes. But anytime you see these little notches here, that you can kind of pick out. You can see one up here northwest of Evansville, Wisconsin as well. When you get these little notches, it can favor tornado risk. We also had a warning on this cell that's moving towards Madison. Now, this is our own custom warning that our meteorologist put out. I'm going to show you all the rotation tracks that we've seen over the past 30 minutes with this cell. This is the reason that we put out the tornado warning for it. It's had a history of rotation. And so the National Weather Service has not issued a tornado warning for Madison, Wisconsin. Our team felt like it was needed because of the rotation that we were seeing on the radar. You can see it here. Here's the rotation track. And so, again, guys, felt like out of an abundance of caution that there needed to be a tornado warning given the rotation on it, given the history of these storms having produced tornadoes, and given the high populated area that it was working into. So, if you're in Madison, Wisconsin, we would highly recommend you taking shelter. Again, there's not a National Weather Service tornado warning in effect. We feel like there needs to be one. And so our team issued one to alert folks in the path on our Clarity weather platform. And if you want more details and want to get more specifics for your location, you can scan that QR code in the top left and sign up for the Clarity weather platform and get our Clarity weather app. We would love to have you all on board. Becky, hi. Thank you for watching. Hi, Indy Cindy01. Appreciate you all watching. I'm from Indy, but vacationing in Michigan City. Will it hit here? Yes, I do think that it's possible. I'll show you kind of the future radar. It's going to give a very rough idea here. Don't necessarily take it verbatim. What will start to happen as these storms push to the east, especially as they work towards the Chicago metro area, and this may be a little bit slow. It says 11:30. That's 10:30 Central. Might be half an hour slow or so. What will start to happen as they move across the lake is they will weaken. Now, I do think that a couple of stronger storms early overnight in Northwest Indiana, Michigan City will be possible. Data has had a tendency to weaken this line a little bit too fast based off what I've seen so far. So I don't think you're completely out of the woods, but I do think Gary, Valparaiso, Michigan City. Threat is lower than areas to the west. I also don't really see a real tornado threat at this point for northwestern Indiana. So that's kind of the breakdown further to the east. I'll pull this up here real quick. This is the timing graphic that our meteorologist sent out on the Clarity platform about an hour ago for northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. And based off what I see, it's pretty much spot on with the timing right now. We're getting these storms. It's about 6:30 Central Time. They're moving into Janesville right now. That's right on with what John Kemper had put out earlier this evening. In terms of the timing, we're looking at DeKalb up towards Watertown, Wisconsin at about 7:15 Central Time. For Chicago, Evanston, Lake Forest, you're looking at about 8:15 Central Time. If there's a risk, it would be that it slows down if it does start to weaken. And so, guys, I think that in terms of Chicago, in terms of Waukegan, if you're east of this pink line, you see this pink dash line here. If you were east of the pink line, we likely do see some weakening happen. There could still be maybe an isolated brief tornado east of this pink line, but the threat is certainly the biggest where these storms are moving through right now. Likely start to see a little bit of weakening as they start to push east of Rockford, east of Janesville, east of Beloit. So again, guys, that's kind of the general idea here. If you'll find yourself on the map again, east of the pink line, starting to weaken things a little bit, and then west of it, where the storms are at right now, is where the strongest of these will be. Jackie, or no, Caven, I see your question there. I'm just going to take a quick look for you. Okay, so where you are at there in Fort Atkinson, looks like these storms will be arriving probably at right about 7 o'clock. So you've got about 30 minutes or so. If you are on the lake, I would recommend getting off the lake as soon as possible and finding a safe place to be. Lightning, very heavy rain, damaging wind will be working towards your location very soon. In fact, here it is, Fort Atkinson. You're probably, gosh, let's see here. I'm gonna switch over to the my different radar tool here just for a moment, so I can time this out for you and see if we can get you a little bit more detail. So right now, you are about, let's see, 26 miles away from the storm. Yeah, it's 30 minutes. You've got 30 minutes before this is on your doorstep with damaging winds, potentially a tornado. There is a tornado warning just to your south and to your west, and extremely heavy rain and lightning as well. So again, if you're in that area, Caven, you just asked me, take shelter, get away from wherever you are at. If you're outside right now, you want to be able to get away from the storm. Okay, guys. So let's zoom this out. Let me take a look here. We've got a decent amount of people on Twitter following us. Hey, if you're on YouTube, be sure to give us some comments. Be sure to tag some friends. Let them know that we're here live streaming on the YouTube platform, trying to give folks an update here on severe weather moving through the area. And again, Facebook too. If you have friends and family in the area, Twitter, be sure to tag them, let them know. I see a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued. You can see it blinking here, guys. So new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Fort Atkinson, which we were just talking about, for 70-mile-per-hour winds and potentially considerable wind damage here as it pushes to the east. So right now, if we zoom in, you can see these brighter colors. We'll use our interrogation tool here to kind of take a look at this. This is where winds can exceed 60 to 70 miles an hour. This is kind of the corridor right now of where the worst of these winds are. It's right in here. This is where the strongest wind gusts are right now, pushing to the north and to the east. So if you're in these areas here, really Rockford and points to the north, you're going to see some considerable wind damage threats as we work over the next 30 to 40 minutes or so. If we zoom this out, guys, again, this still has a ways to go before it hits the Chicago metro area, with this moving at about 50 miles. And we look down here, downtown Chicago, 113 miles away. You're a little over 2 hours away. So you're probably at about 8:30 or so Central Time for this to impact. A little bit further to the north, up towards Evanston, Waukegan, probably a little bit faster here. 87 miles away, so you're a little under 2 hours. You're probably going to be more like, let's say, 9 o'clock or so, maybe a little after. No, 8 o'clock. Sorry, Central Time. Started thinking in Eastern Time there, so a little after 8 o'clock. It's 6:30 right now, so a little after 8 o'clock, 8:15 for Waukegan to the Evanston area in terms of the arrival of this cluster of storms. So, guys, again, I'll switch back over here to our timing graphic. Oh, John, thank you for the compliment. The beta single site radar is awesome. I'm going to go back to that actually, because it is awesome. We have a lot more tools coming here on the Clarity platform. The cool thing about Clarity, if you're just watching, tracking these storms, the cool thing about Clarity is you have this continental United States radar. We can go over here to our single site radar, click around. Right now we have reflectivity and correlation coefficient. We can look at the correlation coefficient and see right now, not seeing any indications of debris or anything like that. So that's some good news. Soon we'll be adding velocity tools. We'll be adding things like, spectrum width, and we'll be adding storm tracking tools and all the nuts and bolts that you need to be able to utilize this as your primary radar platform. Because the cool thing about Clarity is you get things like this too, insights from our meteorologist to give you specific details for your precise location. The cool thing about Clarity is it's a meteorologist constantly communicating with you. It's not just data. So it's a really, really cool platform, and I hope that you all check it out. It's only $99 a year, and you get meteorologist forecast, you get hour by hour data, you get our nowcast, you get our timing tools, you get our single site radar. It's really, really more than anything you can get for $99 for any other weather app that's out there. Let's see here. Will this eventually be hitting Indiana? Northwest Indiana, it will be hitting, but it should be weakening a little bit as it does that. Central Indiana should be okay. As we get into the overnight, these storms should weaken. Can you check Edgerton? I will check Edgerton real quick. Let's see. So let's see. Edgerton, that's just southeast of Madison. So let's zoom in. So you are in the tornado warning right now. So if you're in Edgerton, you need to be taking shelter. This is a radar indicated rotation type of a signal. If we look here at our rotation tracks on the Clarity platform, this storm has a history of some very, very strong rotation. If you were in Edgerton, if you were in Evansville, if you were in Fulton, I would highly recommend taking shelter right now. If you have not, if you have friends and family in the area, you need to be letting them know to take shelter right now. This storm has a history of some strong rotation. You can see, again, the rotation tracks here on our Clarity platform with this storm. And so Edgerton, and again, I would even argue with this activity moving to the northeast, you can see the tracks of this. You can see the tracks may actually go just to the west of Edgerton, out towards Evansville. Regardless, this line is capable of spawning some quick tornadoes. I think that this warning will need to be extended out towards Staunton and Highway 3990 here, and potentially even out towards Fort Atkinson. So if you're in this area, you should be taking shelter right now for a potential tornado. Going back here to the radar, here real quick, guys. A couple of things. Somebody asked why there are storms firing out ahead of this. So if we go over here to the Chicago radar, let's turn on our Chicago radar. You can see a couple of these storms forming out ahead of the main line. The reason for this is because there's a good amount of instability. There's a good amount of dynamics out ahead of this. And so you're just getting kind of these pop-ups to develop out ahead of the main line. There's just enough of a forcing mechanism there to get them to form. So it's not completely unusual. Let's see here. Wow, some crazy shelf cloud images that John just sent me. If you can hear my my dinging going off here. Real quick, I do want to go over to Davenport. I'm going to switch over to the Davenport radar here. A flash flood emergency has just been issued for Davenport, according to our meteorologist John Kemper here. You can take a look. So yeah, this is bad. Okay, guys. So this is a particularly dangerous situation. Davenport, Iowa, between an inch and a half and 3 inches of rain has already fallen, and another inch to 2.5 inches are possible for this area. This is life-threatening flooding in Davenport right now. This is a particularly dangerous situation, a flash flood emergency. This includes Davenport, it includes Moline, East Moline. This area that you can see here, I'm going to zoom right into it, has seen already up to 3 inches of rain. And so a flash flood emergency in Davenport right now with this storm. And you can see here's the burn. If we turn on our radar loop, a ton of rain has already fallen. Look at all of the rain still to go. In this, guys, this is a very, very concerning situation right here in terms of what's going on in Davenport. Let me go back here to the wider zoom. So zooming out, you can see actually numerous flash flood warnings. There was one out in Des Moines, Cedar Rapids. We've got flash flood warnings kind of all over the place, guys, right now with this system. And again, this flash flood emergency, we've issued a separate flash flood warning out here to Iowa City as well. But Davenport certainly concerned. Guys, with this campaign that we're doing right now, if you haven't seen it on our Facebook and our Twitter or our LinkedIn page, we're doing a campaign right now where we're trying to really emphasize, really educate people. Flash flood warnings need to be taken as seriously as tornado warnings. We have seen the destruction and the devastation and the fatalities from flash floods just over the past week or so. We need to take flash flood warning seriously. Flooding kills more people every year than tornadoes. It kills more people every year than any other weather related fatality outside of heat. Okay. So when a flash flood warning is issued, I know it doesn't always come and flood at your exact location, similar to a tornado. When a tornado warning is issued, you're not always hit with a tornado. In fact, most of the time you aren't, but you still take it seriously. And we need to take flash flood warnings just with the same amount of seriousness because again, they're flash floods. They are unpredictable in that small things can make a huge difference. If you're right by a creek or a stream, if there's been a drought going on, because of the very fickle nature of them, we have to take them seriously. So, just wanted to make that note. And for folks in Davenport, be sure to go to high ground if you're in flood-prone areas. Stay off the roads. Do whatever you need to do to stay safe if you're in Davenport right now. Further off to the east, guys, we take a look here. I'm gonna address a couple of these questions here. So south of Joliet, yeah, you're probably still a solid 2 hours and 15 minutes or so away. Some damaging wind gusts possible. It does look like the worst of it will be missing you to the north up here, kind of along the state border. Let's see here. Milwaukee. Yeah, so Milwaukee, guys, if we put this into motion, you still you're going to be clear for a while. Could deal with a couple of these pop-ups perhaps, but it's this main line back here, guys, that we're going to be watching. And again, this is probably 75 miles away. It's a little over an hour away from the Milwaukee metro area. Probably going to be closer to about 8 o'clock or a little bit after for you in the Milwaukee area. All right. All right, guys. So, main concern right now. How's it looking for Indiana? Central Indiana, you're completely fine. Northwest Indiana, you could have a couple of strong, locally severe storms, probably closer to midnight or shortly before that. All right. So, guys, just kind of zooming this out, we're going to put the radar back to where it should be here. Zooming this out, you can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of these east of Davenport, north of Galesburg, are 60 miles an hour. Rockford, 60 miles an hour. Janesville, this is still the one that could be up to 80 miles an hour right now, guys. Fort Atkinson, 70 miles an hour. And right now, the main tornado risk we're watching, it does expire in 3 minutes. I know that ours will expire for Madison here shortly as well. At this point, probably could be expired for Madison But regardless, still need to be kind of keeping an eye on some of these notches that you see here for potential spin ups over the next couple of hours. How does Lake Michigan normally affect these storms? That's a great question. So, one of two ways, and there can be a lot of variance, if you will, in terms of how Lake Michigan can affect storms. Number one, if the lake is cool, it can work to or stabilize the storms a little bit and weaken them, right? Especially if the lake is a lot cooler than what the air is, then the storms will likely weaken, and a lot of times that's what ends up happening. If it's warm enough, if the lake and the surface aren't that different in temperatures, then what can happen is as the storms move across the lake, there are no trees, there are no buildings, there is no terrain, there's no friction to slow the storms down. They speed up, winds speed up, and you can actually get some very intense wind gusts that will exit here in western Michigan. And so, if storms can cross the lake and maintain their intensity, then you can get some very, very strong wind gusts and even enhanced wind gusts on the western or the eastern side of the lake and western portions of Michigan. That's a great question. New tornado warning right now. We talked about this earlier, actually, that there probably needed to be a new tornado warning. And now they have issued a new tornado warning. Milton, Fort Atkinson, just south of Jefferson, Wisconsin here. This will go for the next hour. So a tornado warning in effect for the next hour. Just north of Janesville, Wisconsin. We turn on our rotation tracks here, guys. You can certainly see where all this rotation has been happening and why this new tornado warning has been issued. All right. All right, guys. With that being said, I am going to go ahead and hop off for the time being. I'm going to keep an eye on these storms. I just wanted to give you all a quick update on what we were seeing. If you have questions or you want to be able to talk to a meteorologist or be able to get our nowcast updates with our specific timings, our location specific alerts, our custom alerts, scan that QR code in the top left, or be sure to sign up. I'm going to put the link in the comments here. You can sign up for Clarity Home with that link, or you can get a free trial. This is for businesses or agriculture. You can get a free trial of our platform here, bamwx.com/clarity packages. Would highly recommend checking that out. Again, it's 7 days. It's free. There's nothing to lose. If you're using it for personal use, that $99 a year is going to be great because, again, we've combined everything all in one. The radar, if you use tools like Radar Scope, this is going to be a replacement for that. And again, we've got meteorologists sending updates to you, communicating with you directly to your phone with timing graphics like this that meteorologist John Kemper put out. So, you don't have to guess and look at radar. Okay, when's that going to be here? What time do we think it's going to be? They're meteorologists for a reason. You shouldn't have to guess. Free weather apps have kind of taken that away. We're putting the meteorologists back into those apps. So, guys, that's all that I have for now. Appreciate you all tuning in. Again, be sure to tag a friend, like, share this stream. Again, if you were in the Janesville area, just north of Janesville, you are under a tornado warning right now. And then outside of that, we have severe thunderstorms for up to 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. It does look like our team may have just issued a new tornado warning. So it does look like a new tornado warning our team issued here just to the west of this area. That includes Oregon, Wisconsin, and New Glarus. So that's another area. If you were in this area near Oregon, New Glarus, you need to be taking shelter right now. All right. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. I know a little bit of a different area than what we normally talk about, but want to be sure to give them some love, if you will, as well. Be sure to give them some insights. And again, our team will be keeping an eye on the forecast here over the next several hours as it continues to evolve on the Clarity platform. Be sure to go sign up, Clarity Weather. You can click the link there in the comments.